Okay, thank you for being here this afternoon. Pretty excited about some announcements we want to describe. And again, we couldn't have picked a better day here in Seattle in October. I want to get a few thank yous out first because we're certainly very indebted to some great work that has been done. And I'm going to thank the Hudson Pacific Properties, the Vice President of Construction and Development, Tony Toppenberg, and Washington 100 General Manager, 1000, I'm sorry, I shortchanged him by 900. Washington 1000 General Manager Maria Daly for letting us use the rooftop of the Washington 1000 building for this event. This is a brand new building downtown that opened this year, and I'm going to introduce Council Member and Chair of the Land Use Committee, Tammy Morales, is going to say a few words, but thank you for being here, all of you, for supporting this exciting legislation. I think many of you understand what we're trying to do in terms of creating the Seattle we want to see. This particular legislation will establish a more efficient, flexible design review process downtown, shaving 6 to 9 months off of planning and design to allow projects to begin construction sooner. We all know that time is money. And while we are trying to create housing because the city desperately needs it, everything we can do from a policy standpoint becomes increasingly important. This, in our minds, as the Seattle municipality, is strictly good governance. And again, I want to thank Councilmember Tammy Morales and her colleagues on her committee and the full council for looking at it from that vantage point, looking at ways we can cut through red tape to make progress in our urgent goals, like bringing more housing and jobs and economic activity downtown. It builds on the permanent design review exemption for affordable housing that was passed last year. So this legislation, as you know, it sort of fits into our downtown activation plan, which has included other land use changes like rezoning along 3rd Avenue to encourage more residential buildings, and rezones in Belltown to allow more hotels and other physical structures. You could see what's happening in our downtown area. This is good news. We have a lot of work to do, and you've heard me say on other occasions, we don't take victory laps. We just keep trying to grind it out and get to where we want. We had over 3 million visitors come downtown this year. Downtown averaged nearly 90,000 workers each weekday. Hotel occupancy downtown reached 100% of pre-pandemic demand. Our proposed budget this year that the council member Morales and others are reviewing right now, and of course I think they'll have some packages coming out this week, and they'll be deliberating and listening to members of the public. So I am particularly nice to council members this time of year because it's important as they make these critical decisions, and it is really tough work. And again, I want to thank you for doing this tough work. In our budget that we proposed, $3 million for our downtown activation plan went toward revitalization efforts, including revitalizing Westlake Center in time for the 2026 World Cup, making it the world-class plaza that it deserves to be. We put in $7.4 million in small business supports, including filling vacant storefronts with new and small businesses that were so important to our success. $2.5 million for art activations downtown, building on the success of the 30 murals opened this summer. We recently visited this week, I'm sorry, I get my weeks confused. This week, a mural done in West Seattle, and the communities around just love this kind of activation work. And we put $1.5 million for the Metropolitan Improvement District ambassadors to continue enhanced cleaning and hospitality efforts. And I look forward to hearing John Scholes talk a little bit more about what this great organization, the DSA, are doing to help us revitalize our entire city, in particular our downtown. So we know that downtown is the heartbeat of our city, that what we do here, people from all over the world literally recognize and spread it on, the good word that we're trying to do through hard work in our policy, and indeed in our implementation. So I'm going to ask Councilmember Tammy Morales to share a few words with us. And again, I want to give my public thanks for her committee and the work that she's done relative to land use, creating this exciting legislation. Councilmember Morales.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor. Thanks for hosting us here. This is a beautiful building. I've never been on the 17th floor, so it's fun to see the view from here. I do think this is an exciting day to be signing this legislation. We all know that our design review process needs a little bit of review, but this is an opportunity for us to pilot what it means to cut red tape, to streamline our permitting process, to streamline our design review process, and really see and provide the opportunity for downtown to grow, for downtown to become not just the center of commerce, but for it to become a thriving neighborhood. And this will allow us the opportunity to build housing, to be able to attract people to live downtown. So this is an exciting opportunity. It also will give us the chance to review what our design review process looks like, and to really start to think about more broadly how we can use what we learned from this to allow for more housing throughout the city. We all know we have a housing crisis, and as the mayor said, part of the problem there is that it takes too long for us to get housing on the ground. So the hope here is that we can learn from this process and that we can really start to increase density across the city so that we have more housing availability for folks, more housing at different ranges for folks at different incomes to be able to thrive in the city and to be able to stay in every neighborhood in the city in a way that creates the kind of thriving, healthy neighborhoods that we all want. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Mayor, for bringing this legislation, and we look forward to seeing what a new downtown could look like. Thanks.
Thanks, Council Member. Next, we'd like John Scholes to say a few words. You know that he is the president and CEO of the Downtown Seattle Association, and again, he's been around the block a few times, literally, and doing some great work. So, John, share a few words with us, please.
I'm supposed to turn this on, so I'm going to do that.
Or just yell. That's what I seem to do.
Yeah, I'm just trying to follow the orders of your staff. Is that on? I don't know if I did it. Well, there we go. Here we go.
Wait, let's start all over.
Yeah, you've got a hot mic here. Come on. Well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Morales. Great to be on this incredible perch with you all this afternoon. We're making some incredible progress, as the mayor noted, in reviving our downtown. We've got more workers, visitors, and residents here today than we had a year ago. We're going in the right direction, and it's because of the leadership of our mayor and our council, working in partnership again and working with the private sector and the business community. And that's really the only way we've gotten great things done in this town over many, many years. And you can look around us today and trace that type of partnership back to those accomplishments, whether it's the World's Fair in Seattle Center and the Space Needle, or the waterfront, or the convention center behind me, all done through public-private partnership and great leadership of our elected officials. And so I'm grateful for this legislation. As the mayor mentioned, in development, time is money. I think the Space Needle was built in 400 days. Sometimes it takes more than 4 years to get some of our housing projects done. We can do better. And that results in cheaper housing for everybody, more tax revenue for our city, more customers for small businesses. So this is an appropriate, I think, policy, and the design review process, I think, has raised the bar. We've got a higher bar on good design in our city, so it's served a process. The people who have served on that board have delivered good value for our city. And Seattle's a city with great design and great designers, and we can see the results of the design review process around us today. And it's appropriate, given where we are today, to speed up the development of housing. The capital can go anywhere. We want it to be in Seattle, and thank you to our mayor, Councilman Morales, and the entire council for moving this forward.
Thank you, John. Well, I'm going to introduce our next speaker with a microphone, but if you don't know him, you simply just don't like good food. That would be Rick Yoder, the owner of Wild Ginger and the Triple Door. Rick is the owner of these establishments, a respected leader and advocate in the downtown Seattle space. He's stuck with it through some of even the toughest times. Housed in the Mann Building, Rick and Ann Yoder bought the historic building in 1999 with plans to build a music and dinner theater in the old embassy, and they opened Wild Ginger in 2000. You may recall their previous one around the Pike Place Market location, and then the Triple Door in 2003, and they've since added 2 more locations. But Rick, I want to publicly thank you for just continuing to believe in Seattle and for all of your advocacy. And let's just cut to the chase. If you like Thai spring rolls or 7 flavor beef or fragrant duck, which happens to be my favorites when I go there, you're missing out until you've had it. Rick Yoder, please say a few words.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate all that. And I'd also like to thank the mayor and the city council for passing this bill. The downtown, as a downtown owner, I know that downtown needs more residents. It's been hit with a lot of challenges. I believe that part of the solution is a livable, vibrant downtown that is with more residents and workers to contribute to a safe, clean, and welcoming space for everyone. As we talk to our neighbors, one of the challenges of the housing is the long permitting process. The city's own report shows that the full design review, which is what most projects are required to undergo in downtown, takes over 24 months to complete. That means that it can take over 3 years for a project to get to the drawing board to actual construction. That's too long. The downtown community is to be tied up in red tape. The health of downtown needs rapid intervention. As a downtown owner, I want to see new housing, hotels, research institutions along 3rd Avenue and throughout the downtown. This legislation streamlines one of the time-consuming barriers of the new construction, a positive step for the reactivation of downtown Seattle. I applaud the mayor and the city council for taking this positive step to cut red tape and incentivize new construction. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Our last speaker before we entertain some questions and answers. More questions, probably less answers, hopefully. A little joke. My jokes are going a little flat today. I better do something. Mike's still on? Yeah. The Rodney Dangerfield of mayors here. Tejal Pistakia. Got it right. I'm in the ballpark. Tejal. We're on first name basis now. Yeah. Very impressive background. I didn't need to share with you. I want to do this justice. She's the founder and managing partner of Pistakia and Associates. In 2010, Tejal founded her company to develop urban infill mixed-use buildings in the Puget Sound region. Her firm's philosophy that she lives by is to adopt best practices through the development of various mixed-use projects as well as public projects. Over the last 25 years, she's developed and built over 7,500 units and over 200,000 square feet of office and neighborhood retail in the region. Tejal currently serves on the board of directors for the National Association of Industrial and Office Projects Puget Sound Chapter, NAOP, is on the board of the trustees of the Seattle Academy of Arts and Sciences, otherwise known as SAS, and is a board member at the University of Washington Wright Runstead College of Real Estate. She previously served as 2 terms on the board of Bellwether Housing, and many of you know, an affordable housing organization in the Puget Sound region. Tejal, thank you for your leadership and all this, what you've done for this region and in this particular project of legislation. Thank you very much. Tejal.
I would like to, can you hear me? It's working.
Yes,
I think it's working. I think it's working.
Right, there you go.
The short person.
There.
I'd like to thank you, Mayor, the City Council, and the city staff for their leadership and vision with this very important step in making it faster to build much more needed affordable housing and other throughout downtown and the densest parts of our city. Pistakia Associates is a multifamily developer that builds throughout Seattle. We take great pride in building communities that make our neighborhoods vibrant places to live. Neighborhoods like Fremont, Wallingford, Inner Bay, Queen Anne, Capitol Hill, and Eastlake. This legislation will send a very strong message that Seattle is serious about meeting its housing needs and more importantly, addressing its affordability crisis. Over the last decade or so, we have seen Seattle's permitting process go from 12 to 18 months to over 2+ years. This long and often arduous process often makes our projects infeasible due to changes in market conditions, rising construction costs, rent crises, and most recently, interest rates. Design review costs have become so cumbersome projects often don't even get a chance to get started. As developers, we are committed to build high-quality, beautiful buildings in the Puget Sound region. By focusing on the delivery of the end product in an efficient manner and in making it a clear, streamlined process, I am confident that we will begin to see more housing being delivered faster throughout the downtown area. Mr. Mayor, City Council member, I applaud you for this small but important step towards building more housing faster. There is more to be done, but this legislation is a big step in the right direction to address our city's housing crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Tejal. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tejal. Last, on and off here. Okay. I want to recognize two very important department heads, Nathan Torgerson and Rico Quindongo, SDCI and OPCD. Would you just raise your hand so we could all publicly recognize you? And it is both your leadership and your incredible staffs, respectfully, that have helped us do this work so that the council can review it the way they did. So I want to thank you publicly. And with that, if there are any questions, we'd entertain. We're going to sign some legislation. Any questions that you'd like to advance to me or any of the speakers for that matter? Sure. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. You mentioned the need for funding for affordable housing. Can you talk to the precedent that you're setting with this budget that's diverting the jumpstart tax that would have funded more affordable housing to other priorities in your budget?
Okay. You want me to comment on that? Is that a question? Sure. I'll be more than happy to comment. So we had a real tough business revenue year, as you know, over $250 million or so. And what we wanted to do is make sure we increased the level of funds and revenues toward affordable housing. I think 342 million respectfully is the highest that we've ever done as a city. But we also recognize that there are many other competing priorities. And so what we try to do very methodically, working with the housing community, affordable developers, neighborhoods, is try to submit to the council a balancing package. We were fortunate that some of the revenues from that particular tax source were higher than predicted. So the question I asked my cabinet members was, number one, in addition to just hard dollars, what can we do to make housing more affordable? Next week, I'm having a meeting, a very large meeting with the philanthropic communities, housing developers, the employer community, state legislators, county leadership, a fairly large meeting next week to look at the affordable housing crisis. So the question becomes, quite honestly, what else can we do in addition to money, given the fact that we had a very, very tough budget year? So we'll continue to look at that. And the council, they're under the same pressure. Everything that we try to do in the city seems to be competing, whether it's public safety, climate change, educational opportunities. You go down the list, and it's really hard to take from one pot to the other. We realize that we are in an affordable housing crisis. Well, people are also hungry. And so you even look at some of the food insecurity investments we're making, that becomes critically important. So we think we tendered a good package to the council. The council will deliberate, make some tough decisions, and the Seattle will be better for it. Did anyone want to add in? Rick, you want to take a shot at that question? No, you'll pass on that one. Are there any other questions that anyone would like to ask? If not, we are going to have fun signing this legislation. I'm going to give out some pins. Thank you very much for being here and helping us build one Seattle. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Whenever you're ready, sir. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you.
Everybody good? All right. Good day.